The World Cup is well underway, so let's check in on how Gianni Infantino is doing so far as the president of FIFA. And I'm going to set aside the fact that he invented that fake Peace Prize for Donald Trump. And as we've noted, Donald Trump called Gianni Infantino his biggest fangirl and got a red card overturned for the United States. He also, because of that, has gotten his organization investigated twice, and he is sat in a luxury seat in Seattle getting chants from the Belgian crowd of FIFA Mafia yelled in his general direction. And yet, at the end of all of that, FIFA is going to clear $9 billion. And Gianni Infantino is running for re-election unopposed. Crazy how that works, right? And look, the short version of how we got here, Florian Balogun, the United States top scorer, he got that red card, automatic one-game ban. Trump called Infantino personally, and FIFA erased the ban using a loophole that had never once been used at a World Cup. Then Belgium, they beat us 4-1 anyway and celebrated the win by doing the Trump dance. And then their official team account posted 2 words at the final whistle: overturn this. A Belgian newspaper ran the headline, quote, "Thanks for the motivation, Trump." So look, America's team is out, and what's left of America's World Cup legacy is perhaps that phone call.
Yes, I asked for a review by FIFA. I spoke to a man who's highly respected, and by the way, whose level of respect has gone up tenfold. And he was good before this started, but he really pushed it in this country. I'm the one that got them to do it.
And now the aftermath is arriving. We've got a cross-party group of European Parliament members who have launched a formal push this week, writing to the football associations of all 27 EU countries, urging every single one of them to demand that FIFA's own ethics committee investigate whether pressure from the Trump administration decided who got to play in a World Cup knockout match. It's unprecedented how that happened. The MEP, the Irish MEP is leading it, Barry Andrews. He didn't mince words at all. FIFA, quote, surrendered to the demands of the Trump administration, and the decision was, quote, a disgrace and a perversion of justice. And here's what I think is the most worrying news for Infantino. The second front: 50 members of European Parliament from 13 countries have already signed on to an ethics complaint over that Peace Prize, the one that they invented from scratch and handed to Trump in December. But thanks to Le Mans reporting, we know how that prize got made. Fewer than 10 FIFA staffers were involved. Of the 37 members of the FIFA Council, the body that's supposed to decide things like FIFA strategy, 0 of them were consulted. Not a single one. A human rights group is also taking a complaint to the International Olympic Committee, where Infantino conveniently holds a membership. And the watchdog behind all of this called it the most significant intervention by European policymakers in the top of world soccer since 2015. And that's when European Parliament told Sepp Blatter to step down over bribery charges. And here's what I want to hear from you guys in the comments, right? Especially from the Americans, especially from the American fans. It was expected that the United States would make the round of 16 on home soil. They did. That should have been the story of the summer. That should have been it. Should be a success. Instead, the single biggest headline of the entire American World Cup experience is a phone call from the Oval Office, and then the subsequent drubbing by the country that gave us the Smurfs, Belgium. Did that taint the entire run for you? The phone call and then that subsequent loss in the round of 16? Or can you separate what the players did on the field from the circus around them? I personally cannot. I can't separate those two, and I do not see this as a success for the Americans. By the way, though, the people who live inside this sport, they are not being subtle about Infantino's transgressions here with this World Cup. Politicians in the UK and Belgium, they're openly calling for Infantino's resignation. But just like things to Trump, nothing is sticking. nothing is actually seeming to get through about Infantino's work here at this World Cup. Bloomberg ran the numbers, and the numbers are striking. FIFA is going to walk away for a nonprofit from this World Cup with about $9 billion, $2 billion more than they got from Qatar. Infantino up for re-election early next year in Morocco, and he's running unopposed. The 211 member federations, and only one, Norway, has formally called for an investigation. The rest are lining up to kiss his ring. The president of Asia's confederation actually said, quote, FIFA is in its best position ever. A British sports lawyer said it plainly, the question is no longer whether that red card was justified, it's whether or not FIFA has undermined the integrity of the World Cup itself. And frankly, it has. That's the only answer that there is here. Because the man installed a decade ago, Infantino, was supposed to be the reform president, the guy coming off of that huge bribery scandal. Instead, the European Parliament is now treating him exactly the same way it treated Sepp Blatter for the exact same reasons. And now you've got the final, the FIFA World Cup final, in a few weeks, with Trump already booked to be there on stage to hand over the trophy. Infantino has to go. Not because Europe is mad, not because North America is mad, but because if a president on the other end of a phone call says yes, then there aren't any rules. And we end up with the Montreal screw job all over again. That's for you wrestling fans out there. And right now, FIFA's members can either take their sport back or admit they only care about the money. That is the only thing that is separating soccer from becoming the WWE. And we're going again down that path of the Montreal screw job once again.